Hello.
Hiya. So this is a little bit different. We've been on the boat now for a year.
Yeah.
Now it's gone really, really quickly.
It has.
So we thought we'd just do like a little update of where we're up to, what's been going on, what we've thought about being on the boat for a year.
Yeah, what we've learnt.
Yep, the ups and the downs.
Yeah. The pluses, the minuses. And
That's
just
the same as up and down.
Yeah. Just our honest opinion, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we launched a year ago at Fettler's Wharf, well at St Mary's opposite Fettler's Wharf near Ormskirk.
And then we went into the marina just to get used to the boat, really.
Only for a couple of days.
Yeah, and then came out.
Yeah.
We talked about this last night because I stayed the boat out. It was just really embarrassing. So we came out the marina and I went...
There are two marinas right opposite each other.
Yeah, with a little canal bit in between.
Canal runs in between.
But I went straight across and I went...
Across the canal.
We've gone into the next marina, like the other marina. We thought we were on the canal, so I had to reverse back out.
So that was a good start, wasn't it?
It was like the sail of shame, wasn't it?
Yeah, first trip out and we went straight into the next marina. We had to reverse out and go up the canal.
It's good for manoeuvring practice.
It was, yeah. And
that's why I did it.
Yeah, straight away somebody recognised us, didn't they, and said, oh, it's nice to see you out and about. And
yeah.
That was good. And we spent about 10 days out and then we went back into the marina for the winter and also because of lockdown.
Yeah, so I think we were told we had to get back, and if we weren't back, we wouldn't be allowed in, and if we went out once we were in, that would be it as well. So we sort of felt a bit trapped as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why we're a little bit sad this year, because as you probably know, there's a massive breach on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. It doesn't look like we're going to get back to our winter moorings. I don't, even if we're quietly optimistic, I don't think, looking at the breach yesterday, I don't think it's going to happen.
On Sunday the 10th of October, the Canal and River Trust came out to try and repair some damage, and the breach happened in the early hours of the morning. So it's a 24-mile section, isn't it, that's closed?
Yeah, so I think we said before, they've closed it from the Wigan flight right the way down Johnson Hill at Locks. It is really shallow. We've just passed our friends' boats that are listing. I think you've probably seen that on Twitter. So we thought we'd just go and inspect where we're up to, really, to see how likely it is we're going to get passage.
Yeah, we're sort of heading this way anyway, and we thought, it's a good opportunity to pop in and show you what's happening and how low the water levels are, and we've just filmed our friends' boats.
So the actual tow path is closed by the looks of it, so we're going to see if we can head over the bridge and back onto it on the other side. If not, you're hopefully going to get some drone footage, aren't you, just to see exactly what's going on, and we'll share it with you.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to show you this footage from our friend Gary that he took. Still waiting for an update from the Canal and River Trust this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's now 3:45 and we've not heard anything as yet, so fingers crossed. I can't see us getting through
I
here.
don't think well, somebody said 6 months, so I think our friends will be fine. I think once they refloat this area, because they've dammed it off, once the water levels have reached a certain level, they should be able to turn around and be on the way back. But we have to get past this, which obviously they've sectioned off to stop any more water loss. We don't know how long that's going to take. It does look quite horrific, so we'll see.
Okay, let's go and have a look.
Yep.
Well, this is our friend's boat. I don't know how they're sleeping on this. I'm not even sure if they are, but we're going to see if they're in. Yeah, we travelled down yesterday to Rishton to see where the breach was, and to get the drone up and video it for ourselves, and also to see our friends Gary, Sheila and Glenn. We felt so sorry for them because the boat was almost on what looked like to us a 45-degree angle. They can't sleep, they can't cook. We didn't realise, obviously they can't run the engine, but we didn't even think about that. So they can't have heating. Even things like getting a wash, boiling water for a cup of coffee or tea, it's really difficult, isn't it? And
Gary and Sheila have had to put their pets in kennels because one of them's a lurcher, so has like really long spindly legs. They're concerned that the angle of the boat, if the dog tripped, it would break its leg.
Yeah, and I know how it affects you mentally, because being trapped for 2 or 3 days at Huddersfield on that angle, you just can't wait to move, and it just plays with your brain, doesn't it? Because of the angle, you feel a bit tipsy, a bit drunk almost. So yeah, we're really hoping that they can make it out.
I think, well, to be honest, I think they will, because the levels have started to rise. They're putting things in place to dam the canal. They did that really quickly, to be fair. And they're starting to pump water in. So I think once they're at a level and they can navigate through, they should be able to get back. We're on the other side of it, and I just don't think we'll get back at all.
I suppose we'll talk about that more a bit later on, because this is supposed to be an upbeat video talking about our highs and lows.
Well, that's lows.
It is. But we'll probably get back to that at the end of this vlog. So for us, what have been your highlights? What have you learnt, and what advice would you give somebody?
So I think some of the highlights were going into Manchester city centre, which is my hometown, and seeing it from the canals. It was just an amazing experience, wasn't it? That I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't something I was looking forward to. I don't know about you. I wasn't that bothered about going into a city like Castlefield.
No, because we're more
Manchester.
countryside and open countryside and quiet. But it was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really unique experience, but weird as well, because the bars were still closed, because it was the very end of March. The bars were still closed, so going through the village in Manchester, the gay village, it's very quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we loved the Peak Forest Canal, although I think the Huddersfield was as pretty, if not prettier. It was challenging, but once you're out of the town, the scenery was stunning. And I think it's a confidence building exercise. So we're out for like a year, had some real challenges on there, didn't we? But,
on Huddersfield,
but we overcome them, and I think as new boaters, that was quite a confidence boost.
Yeah, it's boosted our confidence and our skills, I suppose, as well. Our helmsman skills.
100%.
Yeah, and also Dexter has got used to living on the boat, and I think it's taken him a while to adjust, hasn't it? Because his legs used to shake, and it's taken him 11 months, almost a year, to relax on the stern, because he paces up and down, and I think he's
only
just
while we're cruising, isn't it? When he's in and we're not cruising, it's just like being at home.
He wants to get off if one of us is walking along the canal.
But he's still a bit like that, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's only when we're both on that he actually lies down now, which we never thought he'd do.
He's really relaxing into it, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he manages the steps really well, because we were worried, because he's an elderly dog, he's going to be 14 soon, and we were worried about him getting up and down the steps, because he really struggled at first, because the steps are different height, they're quite steep, they didn't have carpet on, so we put carpet on, and he managed to get them down fine. So going back to the Peak Forest Canal, we were really looking forward to doing that, really loved it at the time. We were very lucky with the weather. In fact, it's mad to think we're on the Peak Forest Canal and it was snowing in March and April.
Good, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and we had the fire lit, got some really nice video, and even, we were that long on the Peak Forest Canal, we were seeing chicks being born. I saw those woodpeckers.
Like 2 seasons of it.
Yeah. So to see all the young birds, like the geese, the goslings and the ducklings on the canal, and hearing all the bird song was amazing. To me, my memory of the Peak Forest is lots of woodlands, and until you get up to Furness Vale.
Yeah, it was quite. But then that's how the Huddersfield was. Yeah. It was a lot of ferns. It almost like a rainforest, didn't it? When we first got on, it was like really green, really overgrown.
Yeah.
When we first,
we're lucky that friends came out to visit us as well. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we didn't feel as isolated, I guess, as if people hadn't come to visit us, we would have felt a little bit isolated. But we've met some amazing people as well. I think that's one of the biggest pluses. And I know everybody always says it, that it's such a really friendly community, and it's a bit of a cliche, but from our experience, it 100% is. We've met some absolutely amazing people, and some people who we would class as lifelong friends.
Yeah, I'd hope so. It didn't take long to settle into a place, and I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing, but you'd stay somewhere for a few days and you were reluctant to move because you thought, oh, it's lovely here and the people are lovely and we've made new friends and we don't want to say goodbye to them. And it's been quite sad leaving some places, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like some places where, we've just kept ourselves to ourselves, we haven't really met anyone, and it's not been that hard. But when you meet some people who you sort of have a drink with, you have a meal with, it's then really hard to leave that area knowing that, it might be months before you see them people, if at all, again. So that, I think advice, I would say that if you're thinking about doing it as a couple, make sure you're both committed to doing it, because we've heard stories where one person's been really up for it, the other person's just gone along with it, and then it's been almost a case of they're going to get separated if they don't go back to a house.
Yeah, if both people don't love it, it's going to be really difficult, isn't it?
Get into some routine, because initially, and we're going to be honest, we really bickered, didn't we? So, because we didn't realise.
I'm just dead easy going. It's Anthony that does all the.
It takes two to argue, doesn't it? You're not as. On camera you pretend to be easygoing, but actually in real life, if you lived with him...
Alright, I'll give you that. Yeah, we're both as bad as each other, but it took us a while, and I think we've said this before, that our first 10 days out, I would say to Anthony, are you mooring up here, just letting... And he's like, I'm just letting crew off, and I'm like, it wasn't a criticism, it was just a question.
But we're both guilty of that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Only today I said something to you,
yeah,
and you took it as a criticism, because you're very touchy. Anyway, so the advice I would say is try and get into a routine, know what each other's jobs are likely to be. So you're probably aware that most of the time, and generally because you're filming, Paul does most of the locks, most of the bridges, and it's not because you're not competent, it's because it's easier for you to do the filming by doing that. And if you want to do a bit of cruising filming, then you will take over, but generally it's easier for me to steer the boat and you to do the locks. Yeah,
because I like to film from different angles as well and get different shots, and it's easy to get shots of the countryside, the nature, the wildflowers. If I'm off the boat, I can get close to it, and shots of Dexter and the running water, all the usual shots that we try and get.
But the downside of that is, I think, is that you start to become less confident.
Yeah.
So quite recently our bow thrusters stopped working, and we're waiting for
that to
get repaired, and it might be a couple of weeks because it's so busy at the moment. So,
and we didn't want to move, did we? I didn't want to move the boat on my own. It wasn't great weather, and go through about 9 swing
without
bridges without a bow thruster. But actually, people do it all the time, and we have got used to that, haven't we?
But then it was still me that steered the boat without the bow thruster. So, and that's my point, is that we know loads of boats don't have bow thrusters, and there's a big there's this thing about it being like a
sissy button.
Yeah, sissy button, yeah. And I just think that's just nonsense, because you wouldn't drive a car without power assisted steering if you had the option.
Yeah.
And to me, technology is there to make life easier, and why not use it?
But what I was going to say is, luckily, we were doing this thing, weren't we, where we were going into the locks and getting out of the locks, trying not to use...
Really?
Yeah, well, you most of the time, but both of us trying not to use
bow thruster in case it ever went. And so we were quite lucky that we'd already started using other skills instead of the bow thruster.
There were a few days, I've got to be honest, where I thought I need to move the boat on my own. And what's the big deal? I've done my helmsman training, I've spent lots of hours at the tiller, and it's the only way I'm going to build my confidence. And that one day we're in Furness Vale, Anthony was at work, and we needed water. And I had to take the boat through a swing bridge on my own, and I managed it. And I got water and reversed back, and it was quite a feat for me, but it really built my confidence. And I thought, what am I sweating? My heart was beating when I was setting off, because I thought, what if I make a mess of this? What if I bump the boat? What if the bridge won't open? But I did it, and there's been a few days where I've moved the boat because I knew you were in work, and it would be too late to move the boat when Anthony got in work, and he'd be tired. So I just need to do it and just man up, basically. And that did build my confidence.
One up if you're a female solo boater.
Yeah, so I think that's my advice. I think if there's two of you in a relationship, really do share the duties of doing the locks and the tiller and taking.
Because there will be a day when one of you has to do the other person's job, or the generally designated job.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was I going to say then? So we said about that. Any tips and advice? Do you know what? I really thought I had binoculars that Anthony bought me years ago for doing my photography, for like looking for wildlife that I could film and photograph. And I'm really glad we kept the binoculars, especially on the rivers. They've been really handy, haven't they?
Yeah, because I think I've said, you'll probably see it on one of the vlogs where we've been steering, and if it wasn't for the Martin and Mandela being with us, we'd have just sailed past, because the signage is almost like you either pass it before you see it, or you're right on top of it, and it's like a really sharp turn.
To be honest though, we're not very organised, so we normally decide where we're going, and we'll look at the map the night before, and then we'll set off, and we'll leave the Nicholson guide on the boat instead of on the stern. And we really need to get an open canal planner and check, because I mean there are times when you're approaching a lock and you're thinking, is that a dead end, is that a marina?
Yeah, I think it's quite hard to tell though sometimes, like the way the sort of canals meander, if you like, it's quite hard to see if that's where it stops and if it curves. And
so yeah, binoculars have been very handy. I think the one thing, if you're new to boating, paper towel. Sorry, let me fix that light. How weird, I was going to say. Kitchen towels, because you get condensation on your windows. They're just the handiest thing going, aren't they?
And a Karcher.
And a Karcher for your shower and your windows as well.
Yeah.
And also, I was thinking before when you were chatting, car hopping. So as you know, we both work. You work a few days more than me. But we share the car. And we were worried about car hopping, and we've had quite a lot of overseas viewers who have bought a boat, and they were really worried about it. And it's not as hard as you'd think, is it?
Well, the only time because I bought a bike, and it's generally when you move, you're only going 4 miles an hour, so you're only a few miles away. The only time we've not been able to do that is when we did rivers. Yeah. Because I've got no sense of direction, as you probably gathered when I was like an hour trying to find the way back to the car. Yeah. But if you're on a canal, you just follow the bank. But when you're on the towpath rather, but if you're on a river, there's no towpath. So for me, it's like once the canal stops and the river starts, where'd you go? So it was just easier, wasn't it, on them occasions, just to get an Uber, to be honest.
Especially if it was late, it was dark, we were really tired. You know, it's fine thinking, you can keep fit and cycle or run back for the car, but when it's midnight and you've been cruising all day and you've not had anything to eat, I think that's when you need to get an Uber, really.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
Have some backup plan. And going back to when you got lost, find your car park where you're going to park the car first, and get your 3 words location, because that's the only time you've messed up, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but to be fair, I had found the car park, because that's the one you told me you thought it was. It was in an equestrian centre, and that's where I parked. I did think it was a bit weird when I was coming back.
Yeah. Little did we know that there were 2 equestrian centres a mile apart.
Yeah. So, in all the best will in the world and all the best planning, that situation would have still happened, I think.
Unless you'd have gone to the car park that someone had told us to go to and put in the 3 words. But that's why I was saying we needed to be more organised, and definitely do that, because you might think, I'm really tired, I don't want to walk 5-10 minutes to the car park. I'm just going to go off for the bike and I'll find it. Don't do that. Because that's when you'll come unstuck, and that was horrible, wasn't it? What is there any? We've met some amazing people, as Anthony said, lifelong friends. We've met some real characters. We've met Reg, who's got his remote control boat.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. We still need to send in the footage of that.
Oh yeah. Claire, who was very brave, and a relationship had ended, and she packed all the stuff up and moved onto a boat on her own. And it's just amazing, that courage, isn't it? And that's a wide beam, so I think if people are out there and they're worried about solo boating, it can be done. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, is it? We've been saying all year we didn't want to book our winter mooring in case we enjoyed so much being out on the cut that we didn't want to go back into marina.
Yeah, we did discuss it, and I think the only thing, the guiding thing for us really was that we generally go away in January with friends, and we didn't want to leave the boat unattended. One, for security reasons, but also for battery reasons. So it's like if you're not hooked up to main power, are your battery's going to last 10 days without running the engine or so that was the biggest thing really. I think one, for security, because we knew it'd be like at least 10 days on its own, and the batteries. So that was the only thing that drove us to think about a marina.
It would have been nice to go back to our marina where we were last winter. One, because we've got loads of friends there, and two, it's about half an hour from our parents, and they've not been able to really come out and see us this year, have they? My dad had a stroke, so he doesn't drive long distances, and currently we're 61 miles away from home, so I have to travel 61 miles to collect my magic stuff to then go and do a show and then drive back 61 miles. You're the same. Where we are, we're at the furthest point we could be on our journey this year, away from home, away from parents. So it would have been good to have a base where we didn't have to worry about electric, we didn't have to worry about security, as Anthony said, when we're on holiday, but also be with our friends and closer to our work and parents.
And if we'd have got back, I think there would have been 8 Bickerstaff boats in that marina over Christmas, and it would have been very different. Like last year, like I said, we felt a bit trapped because you couldn't go on each other's boats, and however this year, obviously with the
the pubs were closed, the cafes and restaurants were closed.
With the restrictions being lifted, we could have had like a really, really good time.
Yeah, so we do.
We can still visit, can't we? It's just not going to be quite the same.
Yeah. So I think you'll probably see it on future vlogs, but what happened, we got to Gragrave, well, just before Gragrave, and we found out that Rishton Road Lock, which is Lock 31 and the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, the wall was bulging like this. We'll try and show you a video of that or a picture, and it was closed, and we missed our slot, didn't we, for assisted passage? Only by a couple of days as well, which was really frustrating. But then we were told there'd be more assisted passage either on the Thursday or the Saturday, but it ended up being the Monday, so we were stuck for 5 days waiting to come through. The CRT have been brilliant, keeping us updated. We managed to get through, but even as we were going into that lock, they were telling us about the breach
that
at
had happened
Rishton.
the early mornings,
the early hours of that morning. Sunday night, Monday morning.
So it's making that decision whether to turn round, which would have been like 177 locks and 14 days to get back.
With closures.
But there was closures on there, so there was no guarantee that we would actually get back, or we could be stuck in a place where we didn't really want to be.
Yeah. So I think we felt really down and a bit like, we'd hit a brick wall. But now we've come to realise that we've got everything we need on our boat. It's our home, which is great because we've got everything we need. We're filled with fuel. We're near a water point. We're walking distance to the local co-op. It's just a travel distance to work. But on the positive side, it's forced us to be out in winter. So we're going to experience it whether we like it or not.
We're saying that we may get into a marina for the beginning of December. So we're planning on getting back to our winter mooring for November. November the 1st. But we think it's going to be like the 1st of December, which again is fine because it still ties in with our plans. If we can get a space. Now the guys behind us, who run a sweet shop, don't they? On their boat, the Pendle Witch, they have said that they have booked 2 boats at this marina. And their friend who was going to be coming obviously can't make it now either. So we may be able to have their spot, but they're going to have a word with the marina. We won't know until they've done that.
Fingers crossed. Well, apart from travel plans, going back to the highlights, if you think about what we've done this year, so the Huddersfield was a massive surprise for us, wasn't it? Stand Edge Tunnel was amazing, although we damaged the boat, but it wasn't the end of the world.
Bingley Five Rise.
The Bingley Five Rise. The scenery on the Huddersfield Canal has just been stunning, and 10 times, I'd say, better than what I was expecting.
And then our first rivers. They were amazing because it's so much wider. You can go faster because obviously the flow of the river takes you depends which direction you're travelling. But if you're travelling with the flow of the river, your boat's like going at a faster speed. It almost felt like the Everglades, didn't it? 'Cause it was glorious sunshine.
I was going to say, it was really hard to explain the feeling because you're on a body of water. you know, you would expect it to just be like a wide canal. It just feels totally different, doesn't it?
It did feel very different, yeah.
But amazing. And yeah, we felt totally safe, and there were calm waters and the levels were fine.
Yeah. And we know that's not always the case, and rivers can be quite dangerous, but it did feel like tons better.
We loved it. So again, that was sort of something out of our comfort zone that we really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Crick Boat Show.
Yeah.
Our first time at Crick.
So I know it had been scaled down. A lot of people were like complaining about it being scaled down. It wasn't as good, but it was our first experience as our first experience full stop, but our first experience as well as boaters.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had a good look round. We've gone with friends, so we had a laugh as well.
Yeah.
We met some like fabulous people when we were there.
So good to meet viewers and put names to faces that we've said before, but it was a bit. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Not as educated as Anthony.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Not overwhelming, but
Humbling.
Humbling, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Well done, Anthony. That education really paid off, didn't it? Yeah, humbling. I'll get there eventually. I just need to ask Alex.
So in fact, we've met two guys there, haven't we? We've arranged to try and meet up with. They live in Wales. They've got a boat. They were probably one of the first people we bumped into. One of them.
Yeah, there was a couple from Saudi Arabia, weren't they?
Yeah,
they loved the channel. They loved the art, and you know, going into the tent and people filming us. That was really surreal. Meeting Lisa, well, we met Lisa and Glenn earlier in the year, but to see them again at Crick was fantastic. Colin and Sean, the Foxes, it was so nice to meet them.
Yeah. Yes.
And Tony and Jan. Yeah.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we had this connection, didn't we? That I used to work at Pontins Holiday Parks in 1988, would you believe? And they did the backing tracks for the songs that we used to sing.
And didn't she teach the dance routines?
And taught some of the dance routines, Jan. So it was mad to have that connection from that far back.
And it was your season, wasn't it? They did as well. So yeah, it was really weird.
That was good and nice to meet them.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to a vloggers Christmas party, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Down near Crick.
I'd forgotten about that.
What else have been the highlights, would you say? It's so difficult, isn't it?
Because we've been looking at footage today, haven't we? That you thought you'd lost, and it was like, oh god, we forgot about that. And so just that whole, and so the vlogs are really good for that, aren't they? That it's good for us that we can look back and go, oh god, yeah, because you do forget. It's days do sort of merge into one.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks can go by, and I think I completely forgot we did that stretch of water and those locks and met those people. So yeah, the Bingley Five Rise. The scale of it's just enormous. You see it on video, you see it on TV, don't you? And that's just enormous.
And and it's sort of smaller brother, the Three Rise just beforehand,
which we had
we didn't know that existed. So it's like Three Rise, then the Five Rise. So
the Canal and River Trust volunteers have been brilliant. A big shout out to Sam from the Yorkshire region, because he really helped us when we were struggling through Lock 1A at Huddersfield, and also to get through Ashton Road Lock as well. It's been a full year since we launched, and we've had a full year of travel. It's been like it felt like an adventure. It feels like we've been out for years, doesn't it?
It still feels, and that's the danger, I guess, as well, that we've been on the boat for a year. It still feels like just one big holiday.
Yeah.
And the danger is that, from the other day, when you get on somebody's boat, you get chatting, and then hours later and bottles of wine later, you totally forget, don't you? Like, you've got things to do. And
and I think that's something else that we didn't realise. Everything it sounds dead common sense, but everything takes so much longer, doesn't it? You've got to fill with water, you've got to clean your toilet out, things you don't do in a house. You've got to go and collect a gas bottle and stop for coal or stop for water on the canal. And we're so used to rushing around. And I think a good example, this is one day that we did last week. We had to get from Skipton, didn't we?
Yeah.
Without the bow thruster. It was windy. It was a gorgeous sunny day though. Through 9 swing bridges, we think, to get to Ashton Road Lock, or the lock just before, because that was locked as well. And we spent a few hours getting there. We just had time for a bacon sandwich while Anthony went to see if another boater needed help. Ran back to the boat, we put the covers up, we got changed, we got washed, we grabbed Dexter, we grabbed his food, we dashed to Manchester to your mum's to drop the dog off. And then we dashed all the way over to Anderton Boat Lift for an event that we were invited to by the Canal and River Trust, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
We had to be there for 4:30. That was for 2 hours.
In fact, because we'd seen the boat lift and we've got friends who live around there, but we've never actually been on it.
No, we hadn't.
And so we got to do that, not on our own boat, but on like one of their trip boats.
Yeah, the glass-sided trip boat.
Yeah, so which I thought was glass boats.
We got to meet the chief executive and lots of other lovely people from the Canal and River Trust.
Yeah, and talk about some of the work that I think people don't realise that they do.
Yeah.
So like, education and they do these things called STEM education, isn't it? So they'll get, it's open to all, including like children from sort of less privileged, disadvantaged families.
Backgrounds, and also children that don't do well academically in school that will have other skills and become passionate about the things that the Canal and River Trust do. So it was really worthwhile, wasn't it? And opened our eyes. And we realised that, the whole point of it, Anderton Boat Lift is 150 years old. It was the first of its kind in the world. There are only 2 others in the world that are in a much better state, and it's going to need a lot of money to have it repaired. And we hope that it can do that and keep it going, because it's something we need to do, I think, isn't it? Yeah. But so then we went to see our friends, Jenny, Trevor, Martin and Mandela on their boat. They were 15
They were
minutes.
on the River Weaver, weren't they?
Left there about 11:30. Oh no, it was earlier than that. About 10 o'clock at night. Went to Manchester to pick Dexter up, and then got back here. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was falling asleep at the wheel. We had to pull into a service station and get coffee. I was fine then. But that's just like, that was one day. So we're saying boating's supposed to be relaxing, which it can be.
I think we just make a run for our own back, because we try and fit it so much into...
Yeah, and to be honest, we wouldn't have had to move from Skipton only for the assisted passage we thought we'd get the next day.
And I think the frustrated thing is we did move, and then it didn't happen until the Monday, so we could have stayed another day or so in Skipton. So, but yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's, that's one of our favourite phrases at the moment.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's yours. I think, as well, going back to the highlights, the woodpecker chick that I managed to see.
That was really cute.
At its nest and film it. The meadows of wildflowers on the Peak Forest Canal, and I got the drone up, and I'll try and include this footage, but I got the drone to skim along this field of wildflowers up to the trees and the canal, and there was a boat coming along at the same time. It was just one of those coincidences. I couldn't have timed it better. Bugs with Basin was great, meeting the people there. And again, so many people have offered help, and actually now that we're stuck here, and we know people are in a much worse position than us because their boats, like we said, so many people have offered to help us, and again, that's, what's the word? Humbling.
It is humbling.
Yeah.
And we've offered help as well, haven't we? So we're fortunate that we have the boat and the car. So and we know not everybody has a car, so we have offered help to people who don't have a car, who are stuck maybe to get fuel or coal or whatever, and so we have said, if anybody's struggling, they're on this side of the breach, and they need a hand, to just let us know. Yeah, because we'll do what we can.
And that was another thing, that we were running short on fuel, weren't we? And 5 separate people offered us fuel and wouldn't take money for it. I mean, we said that we're really okay. Honestly, we've got like a fifth of a tank, which we had. We were telling people a third, but I think it was about a fifth of a tank.
Fifth of a tank.
Yeah. But yeah, 5 different people at locations, when we asked them where we could get fuel from, offered us fuel or to go and get fuel for us, and didn't want money for it. And that's just mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we want to say, really, I think in summary, have you got anything else to add? I was just going to thank our lovely viewers.
I don't think so. No, it's been an amazing year. It's not just the boat anniversary, but it's our anniversary as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the 16th.
Yeah.
How many years, Paul?
Yes, 21. 22.
No.
21. Oh, yeah. We've been together 21 years.
That's not our...
No, I know, it's 11.
It's anniversary.
Yeah, 10. 10th anniversary.
That's easy to remember, you've forgotten.
Because we met in 2000, so that's dead easy to remember, so it's 21 years, but
our partnership was in
2011,
so our official anniversary is 10 years.
Yeah, and Dexter's going to be 14 at the end of this month, and it's my birthday, so October's a great month for things like that, isn't it? So we hope that we can enjoy our winter out. It does mean that we may have more vlogs to produce for you guys.
Yeah, so every cloud there's a bit more footage, although we can't go very far.
No, but we can, but we were worried that we'd be in the marina or have nothing to show the viewers.
Yeah.
So we just want to say a massive thank you to you. We're nearly at 10,000 subscribers. It would be so amazing if we could get to 10,000 subscribers,
at least before the end of the year. It'd be amazing.
Because about 50% of the people that watch our videos don't subscribe, so please do subscribe if you can. That'd be amazing. It's free, isn't it?
Yeah. It'd be nice as well if you could tune into before going narrowboating on the
26th of
26th October
at 7 p.m. British time, because we're doing a live chat with them,
so that'd be quite good as well, because as you know, I'm very reluctant to do a live chat.
Get on to it.
Because I don't know, I'm not a shy person at all. In fact, quite the opposite. If you met me in person, I'm quite the opposite. Yeah. But it's just that, I don't know, it's just that fear of doing the live in front of a camera. I know, but I don't know why.
It's just like this, but live.
Block.
No.
So that might be quite nice to see how it goes and see how I feel about it.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah.
So if you can tune into that'd be amazing.
So again, thank you so much everybody for your support. Please keep your comments coming, and we hope you have a fantastic week. And we'll look forward to chatting to you live, hopefully on the 26th of October. If you're wondering where Dexter is, he's fast asleep just by my leg.
Just like your legs down there.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.